Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fadlin Arin Sofia binti Zulkifli. My matric number is 1240663. For my presentation, I will present about the case of public prosecutor against Wimi Industries Co. Sdn Bhd. In this presentation contents, I will talk about the case overview, the objective I present this case, the fact of the case, the court decision in this case, the issues that arise in this case, discussion, justification, recommendation to the government that relate with this case, and the conclusion. For this case overview, the appellant of this case was the public prosecutor. The hearing of this case was at 9 November 1985. This case was heard at the Court of Malaysia Appellate Criminal Jurisdiction, and the presiding judge was Tan Chow Tong. This case decision was referred to the cases of Royal against Brentford Justices and the case of ex parte Wong and Davenport against Apollinaris Company Limited. For the objectives I present this case are: this case highlights the need for honesty in product labeling, especially for terms like halal, which are important for religious and cultural reasons. This helps ensure that Muslims are not misled about whether a product is suitable for their beliefs. Other than that, this case shows that businesses must follow legal and religious rules to avoid fines and keep the trust of their consumers. And this case shows how technical terms like halal are explained and understood in legal rules such as the Trade Descriptions Order 1975. It also points out the need for evidence to show that a product follows these rules. Let's talk about the fact of the case involving Wimi Industries Company Sdn Bhd, which has breaching the Trade Description Act of 1972. The company faced two significant charges. Firstly, they were accused of mislabeling over 15,000 packets of instant noodles as halal. The term halal refers to food that is permissible under Islamic law, and it is crucial that products carrying this label meet specific criteria. In this case, the noodles did not adhere to the definition set out in the trade description use of expression halal order of 1975. Therefore, falsely labeling them as such mislead consumers who rely on this certification in their dietary choices. The second charge against this company related to the soap powder included with the noodles. They claim it contained edible vegetable oil, but in reality, the product was made with animal fat. This misrepresentation not only violates consumer trust, but also raises concern among those who strictly avoid animal products in their diets, particularly those following halal dietary laws. The implications of these charges are significant, highlighting the importance of accurate product labeling and the legal responsibilities of companies to ensure their claims are truthful. This case serves as a reminder to consumers to be vigilant about product labels and to companies about the critical need for transparency in their marketing practices. Then, the respondent accused of misleading consumers regarding the contents of certain food products. Initially, the respondent faced two separate charges. The first was related to the use of the term halal on noodles. However, the prosecution could not adequately demonstrate that this term met the specific legal criteria required. As a result, the respondent was acquitted of this charge. On the second charge, the scenario was different. The respondent was found guilty of failing to disclose the presence of animal fat in the soup powder that accompanied the noodles. This omission was deemed to constitute a false trade description, which is a serious violation of consumer protection laws. Following this decision, there was a legal reaction from both sides. The public prosecutor was not satisfied with the acquittal on the first charge and decided to appeal that decision. On the other hand, the respondent, now convicted on the second charge, also chose to appeal the conviction against them. The court considered two important appeals regarding food labeling. The first appeal concerned the prosecution's challenge against a defendant's earlier acquittal. However, This was rejected as the prosecution failed to prove that the term halal was misapplied according to the recognized interpretation of Islamic law in Sarawak. The second appeal revolved around a conviction linked to food labelling, which the prosecution tried to contest, but it was also dismissed. The court highlighted that the omission of animal fat on the product label could mislead consumers, especially those observing Islamic dietary laws. This decision emphasized the need for clear and accurate food labeling in diverse societies, helping consumers make informed choices and reminding business of the importance of regulatory compliance. In this case, two main issues emerged. The first issue centers around whether labeling the product as halal constitutes a false trade description as defined by the Trade Description Use of Expression Halal Order of 1975. It is essential to determine if the usage of this term misleads consumers regarding the product's compliance with halal standards. The second issue looked at the failure to reveal the presence of animal fat in this product. This critical question here is whether this omission can also be classified as a false trade description, potentially misleading consumers about what they are purchasing. Both of these issues highlight important aspects of consumer protection and honesty in product making and product marketing. In this case, the individual faced charges under the Trade Description Act of 1972 for mislabeling instant noodle packets as halal when they were not, and for incorrectly identifying edible vegetable oil as an ingredient, while the soup powder include animal fat. The court emphasized that a material misrepresentation involves not just the quantity of the misrepresented item, but also its significance to consumers. For instance, even a small quantity of animal fat can be significant if it pertains to the dietary restriction of certain group like Muslims. This ruling highlights the importance of accurate labeling, ensuring that consumers make informed choices based on their dietary needs. For the justification, the court acquitted the first charge because the prosecution failed to demonstrate a clear connection between the product's labeling and relevant Islamic laws in Sarawak. Moreover, there was a lack of expert testimony to support their claims. On the other hand, regarding the second charge, the court found the inclusion of animal fat without proper labeling to be misleading to consumers. This highlighted the crucial role of accurate labeling in maintaining public trust and addressing consumer expectation, especially in diverse society. The ruling underscores the need for transparency in product information to ensure that consumers can make informed choices that align with their beliefs and values. There is recommendation for the government to strengthen and clarify halal labeling regulation in line with the Trade Description Act of 1972. The ruling underscores the significance of ensuring that food items promoted as halal generally meet the specific definition and standard set out in the Trade Description Use of Expression Halal Order from 1975. This means it is vital to understand the technical aspects of what halal entails and to make sure these products comply with Islamic law or hukum syara. By reinforcing this regulation, we can enhance consumer trust and ensure that halal products truly reflect their advertised qualities. For the conclusion, the respondent faced two charges regarding mislabeling. First, the court found that the prosecution could not prove that hukum syara or Islamic law was applicable in Sarawak, leading to the acquittal on the charge of falsely claiming a product was halal. They lacked sufficient expert testimony to support the argument. However, on the second charge, the respondent was found guilty of misrepresenting soup powder that contained animal fat by labeling it as having edible vegetable oil. The court ruled that failing to mention animal fat was misleading, particularly for a Muslim community where such details matter. Their appeal against this conviction was rejected, reinforcing reinforcing the importance of accurate product description. Thank you, that's all from me.